I'll discuss with you today solving systems of linear equations by elimination. So there are other processes of solving linear equations, but this elimination process is actually the easiest and it requires lesser time. So we have here 6x minus 11 or minus y is equal to 11, while the other one is x minus 2y is equivalent to 1. So the elimination process has the aim of eliminating one of the variables. So as you notice, there are two equations with two unknowns, and those are your x and y. So the thing that we are going to do is we decide whether we eliminate the y or we eliminate the x. So let's try to look into the given numbers first and try to evaluate or investigate which is easier to eliminate or what will be more suitable. So looking into this, if you want to eliminate your x, there is a need for us to multiply the second equation by 6. While if you are going to eliminate the y, you simply have to multiply the first equation now with your 2, which is actually more convenient because we are working with a smaller number. Okay, so in this case, we choose to eliminate now your y by simply multiplying our first equation by the number that will make them equal to the negative 2y that you have in the other equation. So we will now multiply this by 2, and therefore the result will become multiplying 2 and 6x, that will result now to 12x, and multiplying 2 with the negative y, that is now equal to negative 2y, and this one multiply also 2 with the 11, and that will result to a positive 22. Okay, so do not forget that part because we have to remember that to maintain the equality, what you have to do in the left side should be done also on the right side of the equation. Now, we have here your second equation. So x minus 2y is equal to 11. Since we already have a negative 2y here, our aim, which is to eliminate the y, can already be done because we can eliminate this actually by subtraction. So again, we are not going to change your second equation. So again, what are we going to do here? We will now eliminate the 2y, and the elimination process will be done by subtraction. So we are going to subtract now your first equation and your second equation. So in here, we can now have your 12x minus x, and that will result to 11x. And eliminating now your 2y, that will already be equivalent to 0. And subtracting 22 and 11, the answer that we will be getting is 11. And following our rule here, in solving for our equation, we simply just divide this both side by 11, and that will result now to x is equivalent to 1. So we already have a value for your x, which is equal to 1. Okay, so we eliminated the y. Now, if you want to go purely elimination, then you can do that again with trying to eliminate our x. So this time, we have 6x minus y is equivalent to 11. And the other one is x minus 2y is now also equal to 11. So since we want to eliminate our x as your variable, what are we going to do? We are now multiplying the second term this time by 6. So we will multiply this by 6. And this will result, we just have to copy that. So this becomes now 6x minus y is equal to 11, while the second case now we have 6 times x, that will result to 6x, And then you have 6 times the negative 2y, that will give you a negative 12y. And multiplying now 6, and you have your 11, that will result to 266. So here, we can now have your elimination by subtraction once again because they have the same sign. So 6x minus 6x becomes 0. And we have here your negative y minus negative 12. So is you using your loss on exponent, this automatically will be changed to minus or plus positive. So that means that becomes now 11y is equivalent to, you have here your 11 minus 66, and that results to negative 55. Okay, and again doing that procedure, we divide again by 11, and we divide this also by 11. Therefore, the value that we are getting for our y is equal to negative 5. So we already obtained the solution for this equation. So again, when we give the solution set, it should be an ordered pair x, y. So since the value that we obtained for our x is 1, we just fill in that 1 there, and then your y is negative 5. Okay, so the solution for our answer or for our question here is 1, negative 5. If you want to do the checking, we can simply just substitute by referring to that 1. Again, 6x. So this happens to have 1 as a value. So 6 times 1 minus your y is a negative 5. So that becomes now equal to, okay, so we have 6 times 1 is 6. And then the negative with the negative or negative or minus negative 5 becomes 11. Okay, so the equation is satisfied. And so also with the second equation, when you are going to do this, you have your x is 1 minus 2 multiplied by the value of your y, which happens to be negative 5. So having this, we have 1, and looking into the negative 2 multiplied by negative 5, that results to a negative or a positive 10. So 1 plus 10 is also equivalent to 11. So since those two equations were satisfied, we can say that the answer that we obtained, which is 1, negative 5, is correct. This is now your solution for this system of equation. Okay, let's have another example. Here, you have 2x plus 4y is equal to 4, and 3x plus 2y is equivalent to 22. So again, we decide first what to eliminate. Looking into this, you have 2 and 4. So we can just simply either multiply this by 1/2. That will make the number of easier, because as you know, this is 2, this is 4, and this is 2, which means that we can actually eliminate, or you can actually rename by multiplying by 1/2. Okay, so that the number that we are getting is smaller. It's better to work with smaller numbers than the bigger one. So we have now 1/2 of 2x. The answer that you will be getting there is x. 1/2 of 4y, that becomes now a positive 2y. And then 1/2 of 4, that is equivalent to 2. Okay, and then for the second equation, we simply just have to copy. So there you have 3x, and then plus 2y, and you have here equal to 22. So looking into this, you have 2y and 2y. That means to say we can just eliminate by, again, by subtraction. So that means to say this is already eliminated. And subtracting now x minus 3x, the answer that you will be getting there is negative 2x. And again, we have now 2 minus 22. The answer that we have there is negative 20. And if you are going to divide this, both side of the equation by negative 2, we divide this by negative 2. We do the same thing on the right side of your equation, making now or giving us a value for your x that is equivalent to 10. Now, a while ago, I actually used the elimination in both cases. So, eliminate first, or we eliminated the y, and then we were able to solve the value of x. But there is actually another method, which is a combination now of your elimination and your substitution. So, when you do the elimination, we already obtain the value for your x, which means that if we already know the value of your x, we let now your x be equal to 10, and we can just simply substitute this value to the equation. We can choose either the first or the second. So 2x, and then x happens to be 10, so 2 times 10 plus 4y is equal to 4. Okay? And using uh, your idea on solving your equation with one variable, we can now just leave your 4y here. So 4y now becomes 4 minus, we have 2 times 10, and that gives you a product of 20. So we will now have minus 20 on the left side of your equation. So looking into this, we have 4y is equivalent to the difference of 4 and 20. So 4 minus 20 is negative 16. And of course, you have to divide this again by 4. So divide this by 4, divide this by 4. You will now have your value for your y, which is negative 16 divided by 4 is equal to negative 4. Okay? So we have now a value for your x and then a value for your y, which means that if you are going to interpret, your solution will be 10 for your x and your y is a negative 4. Okay? Again, what I did here is to eliminate one variable, and if I already solve one of the variables, I just substituted it. So it's a combination of your substitution and elimination process. Now, if you want to check this one, so what are we going to do in the checking part? Your x is 10. So 2 times, we are trying to substitute it to the original equation now. 2 times 10 plus your 4y. So we have 4, and then we obtain a value of your y, which is negative 4. And this should give you an answer of 4. So looking into this is 20. And 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. We have a positive and a negative there. So that will result to 16. So 20 minus 16 is equal to 4. So we can already have that as a correct statement. And then 3x. So 3 times 10, we have again, you are trying to substitute now x here. And then 2y. So plus, we have a 2 multiplied by the y, which is now a negative 4. So times negative 4. And let's check if it is now giving us an answer which is equal to 22. Okay, so 3 times 10, that is 30. And you have a positive, or 2 times negative 4, that is negative 8, so minus 8. And obviously, that will also be equivalent to 22. Okay, so that is how we solve systems of linear equations. Now, we will try to look into some problems that actually involves linear equation. So we have this word problem. I counted 37 pigs and chickens in my grandfather's farm. If there are 102 feet in all, how many pigs are there? So this is a certain case wherein we can solve this by having two variables. So as you notice, the total of the number of pigs and chickens is equivalent to 37. So it is very important that we know how to express them in terms of a certain equation. So I have here, I counted 37 pigs and chickens, which means that the total of pigs and chickens is equivalent to 37. So we are used to using x and y as our variables. So I will let now your x be the number of pigs, while the chicken chicken will be the number of, or the y will be the number of chickens. So that I can make a statement here that says x plus y is equivalent to 37. Okay? So again, I counted 37 pigs and chickens in my grandfather's farm. If there are 102 feet in all, how many pigs are there? So in this case, we have to analyze that the number of pigs will be multiplied by the number of feet. So since we do not know the number of pigs, it will just be represented also in terms of a certain variable. Okay, but we need to multiply that because a pig has 4 legs. So therefore, we can now have 4x for that one as the representation. Again, the x represent the number of pigs and the 4x represents the number of legs for that, or for feet for that or for that number of pigs that we have. So we have now 4x plus, since there are for our chickens there are two legs, so therefore we multiply the number of chicken by 2, so that will now be represented by 2y. So x plus y is equal to 37, and 4x plus 2y is equivalent to 102. Okay, so this is now the simple representation for that problem. Again, we are dealing with systems of linear equation. So what are we going to do here? We are basically looking for the number of pigs. Okay, so therefore, we need to eliminate the number of chicken, and that pertains to our y. So our aim is to eliminate the y. Now, we can either multiply this number by 2 or we can divide this by 2. So it's up to us. So for now, I will just choose to multiply this by 2. Okay, anyway, the numbers are small. So I will now have an answer which is 2x. Again, we are trying to distribute the 2. So 2 times x is 2x, and then 2 times y, you have 2y, is equivalent to 2 times 37, that is equal to 74. And then 4x, we just have to copy the 4x, and then also with the 2y, and of course the 102. So that will just be copied. Now the rule here is we eliminate the y, and the process of doing it is by subtraction because they have the same what do you call this one, sign, so they are both positive. So subtracting now 2y and 2y, that's already eliminated. Now when you have 2x minus 4x, the answer that you will be getting here is negative 2x, and we have now 74 minus 102. The answer that you will be getting here is, you have to regroup that will now become 8. Okay, that is equivalent to 28. So let's check 12. Okay, that's 28 or negative 28 because we are subtracting 74 uh, minus 102. So now we have to divide both sides by a negative 2. So we divide this by negative 2. We divide also this by negative 2, having now your x equal to dividing negative 24 by negative 2. The answer that we are getting is 14. Okay, so 14 is the number of pigs that you have. This is now the number of pigs. Now, if you are not convinced with that, what are we going to do? We can do with the checking. So that simply means that if your number of pigs is 14, so 14 plus the number of your chicken must be equivalent to 37. Okay, so what is the number that will satisfy this equation? Of course, that will be 23. Correct? So there must be 23 chicken. Okay? So that 14 plus 23 is equivalent to 37. And if you want to go further, so looking into the number of feet that they have, if I will be multiplying 4 with the 14, So 4 times 14 is equal to 56. And then plus, of course, the chicken has two feet. So 2 multiplied by the 23 now. So 2 times 23 is equal to 46. So if I will be multiplying 2 and 23, that is equal to 46. Therefore, adding them, that results to 102. Okay, 102 feet. And we are getting it in the given. Okay, so we can say that our answer is correct. There are 14 pigs in the farm. Okay, let's have another problem which also involves solving systems of linear equation. Okay, here the sum of two numbers is 32 and they differ by 6. What is their product? So before we can multiply them, let's identify what are these two numbers. So again, the statement would say the sum of this is 32. So we have two missing numbers. We can have them x plus y. And if you add them, the answer that we are getting is 32. Okay, and they differ by 6, which means that once you subtract them, we can now have an answer which is equivalent to 6. So x minus y is equivalent to 6. Okay, so we have these two linear equations which are involved, so that after getting the value of x and y, it is already possible for us to find their product. So again, we will just simply eliminate here y because you already have here your positive and a negative y. So what I will do now is to eliminate by addition. Okay, so that we can do away with the negative sign here. So eliminating by addition, you have here a positive y and a negative y. So that is now 0. And you have x plus x is equal to 2x. And adding 32 and 6, the answer that you will be getting here is 38. Okay, and dividing both sides again by 2, you divide also this by 2. Therefore, the answer that we are getting for x is equal to 38 divided by 2, which is equal now to 19. Okay, so x is equivalent to 19. Now ask yourself, you have x plus your y is equivalent to 32, or you can do the other equation, x minus y is equal to 6. So here, what are we going to do? We just substitute. Your x is equivalent to 19. So 19 plus the value of y that you have there is equivalent to 32. So you can just present it that way. Okay, it's easier to identify that value for y. Or if you want to do it, that becomes now a certain number, or y, the missing number here is 32 minus 19. That's the way to solve that one. And subtracting now your 32 minus 19, the answer that we are getting there is equal to 13. Okay, again, that's y. So y is equal to 13. So if you are going to check 13, so by the checking, 19 plus the 13 will give us an answer which is equivalent to 32. And subtracting that, 19 minus 13 is also equal to, okay, so that is satisfied. It is equal to 6. Okay, therefore, the number that we are looking for is 19 and 13. And since we are to find for the product, 19 times 13 will just give you 9 times 3 is 27. So we will have 2. And then that is now 12, 14. So we can now have 1. And the answer that you will be getting there is 247. Actually, that is one shortcut that you can learn by multiplying 10 to 19. Okay, so we multiply 3 times 7, 27. So instead of putting the 2 there, you can just add, you put it here. And then add all these three numbers. So 2 plus 9 is 11 plus the 3 there is equivalent to 14. And then you have now the regrouped number. And then you can just add that 1 times or 1 plus 1 times 1, it's equivalent to 2. That's a shortcut that you can possibly use in multiplying numbers. So our answer for this is 247. Okay, so those are ways on how you could solve problems or linear or solving systems of linear equations. All you have to do is to interpret them in terms of your variables and x and y, and then do the elimination process.